Moment News broke that V's private conversation with Min Hee-jin had been submitted to a court of law and leaked to the media. The K-pop world didn't just pause, it exploded, raising uncomfortable questions about privacy, manipulation, and the lengths people will go to win a corporate war. To understand the magnitude of this shock, we have to rewind to the initial explosion. The friction between Min Hee-jin and HYBE became public knowledge in April 2024, a period that fans now look back on as the beginning of the end for the company's internal stability. Min Hee-jin, the CEO of ADOR and the creative force behind NewJeans, was accused by HYBE of attempting a management takeover and straying from her duties. She retaliated with a blistering press conference, portraying herself as a protector of artistry, fighting against a corporate machine that was plagiarizing her work. The core of her defense was the allegation that HYBE's new girl group, ILLIT, had copied the con-styling and vibe of NewJeans. This wasn't just a creative dispute, it was the nuclear option in K-pop, an industry built on distinct identities. She claimed that HYBE was cannibalizing its own success to create a group they could fully control, thereby devaluing her work and, by extension, her shares in the company. Fast forward to February 12, 2025, the day the Seoul Central District Court delivered a preliminary ruling that sent shockwaves through the financial markets. In a surprising twist, the judge ruled largely in favor of Min Hee-jin regarding the shareholder agreement. HYBE had filed a lawsuit to confirm the termination of this agreement, arguing that her misconduct gave them the right to walk away. The court, however, disagreed. They ordered HYBE to pay Min Hee-jin approximately 25.5 billion won to purchase her shares under the put option clause. The logic was that her attempts to seek independence for ADOR were hypothetical plans that hadn't been executed, and therefore didn't constitute a breach of duty significant enough to void the contract. It was a massive victory for Min Hee-jin, validating her stance that she was still legally bound to the company and owed a massive payout. However, within this victory lay the seed of the next major controversy. As the details of the court's reasoning began to trickle out, they didn't come through official, dry legal documents first. Instead, they exploded via an exclusive article from a media outlet known for its favorable coverage of Min Hee-jin. The article claimed to have obtained the non-public judgment materials, and it focused heavily on one specific point to validate the plagiarism narrative. It stated that the court had acknowledged Min Hee-jin's claims about ILLIT copying NewJeans were a legitimate expression of opinion, not a factual lie, and then it dropped the bombshell. The report cited KakaoTalk messages between Min Hee-jin and V of BTS, claiming that these messages had been accepted as evidence. According to the article, in these private texts, V had seemingly agreed that ILLIT looked similar to NewJeans, quoting him as saying, "I saw it too and thought this feels similar." This wasn't just a leak, it was a detonation. In the court of public opinion, this was interpreted as the ultimate validation. If a member of BTS, the senior artists under the HYBE umbrella, was privately siding with Min Hee-jin and acknowledging the plagiarism, then it had to be true. Social media platforms were immediately flooded with comments weaponizing V's name against HYBE and ILLIT. Fans argued that V was silenced by his contract, but had found a way to tell the truth through private channels. The narrative being pushed was clear. V was the whistleblower in disguise, and this leaked text was his testimony. It was a narrative that fit perfectly into the David versus Goliath storyline Min Hee-jin had been cultivating, but it relied entirely on taking a snippet of a private conversation and stripping it of all context. What happened next was a stark reminder of the dark side of the digital age. Within hours of the article going viral, V took to his Instagram story to address the situation directly. It is incredibly rare for a BTS member to publicly comment on ongoing legal battles involving their company, especially one as messy as this, which signaled just how serious this breach of privacy was. He didn't mince his words. He clarified that the conversation was a private, everyday exchange with an acquaintance. He used the past tense, suggesting a shift in their dynamic, and that he was simply sharing empathy. He explicitly stated, "I have no intention of taking either side, and perhaps most crucially, I am very taken aback that this conversation was submitted as evidence without my consent. HYBE quickly backed him up, issuing a statement that explained V was speaking empathetically and did not agree with the specific remarks, expressing their own dissatisfaction that his privacy had been violated for legal gain. This response blew the lid off the manipulation at play. V's statement confirmed what many legal experts had suspected. The message was likely a polite social nicety, the kind of, "Oh, I see what you mean" comment people make to friends who are venting, rather than a formal declaration of copyright infringement. By submitting this private chat to the court, Min Hee-jin's legal team had technically complied with South Korean law, which requires only one party's consent to record or submit a conversation. However, the ethical implications were staggering. An artist who was not involved in the management dispute, who was serving his mandatory military duty, found his private words used as a cudgel in a corporate fight he had no stake in. It painted a picture of a strategy that viewed people not as colleagues or friends, but as assets to be leveraged. The fallout from this revelation was immediate and polarizing. Fans of BTS and other HYBE artists expressed fury, accusing Min Hee-jin of exploiting V's name to sway public opinion. It reignited discussions about her previous actions, such as when she allegedly claimed V had messaged her for support during the initial audit, a claim that was scrutinized given soldiers typically have restricted phone access. The perception that she was willing to drag other artists into her legal war to score points damaged her savior of the artist image in the eyes of many. On the other side, her supporters argued that the submission of evidence was a standard legal move to show that her concerns about plagiarism were genuine and shared by others in the industry, not just a fabrication for revenge. They saw V's denial as a forced response due to his contractual obligations to HYBE, clinging to the idea that his initial comment was the truth. The plagiarism debate itself remains a tangled mess. While the court ruled that Min Hee-jin's statements were opinion and not malicious lies, they did not legally declare that ILLIT had plagiarized NewJeans. The court acknowledged that materials were provided to Belift Lab, but distinguished between similarity and illegal copying. Yet, the damage to ILLIT has been tangible. The rookie group has faced relentless hate and accusations since their debut, much of it fueled by the high-profile nature of this dispute. The use of V's name was the accelerant that turned a simmering feud into a wildfire, demonstrating how easily serious allegations of artistic integrity can morph into toxic fandom wars where the actual artists, V, the members of ILLIT, and the members of NewJeans, become collateral damage in a fight over shares and control. As the dust settles on this specific chapter, the situation remains volatile. HYBE has announced they will appeal the ruling, meaning the legal battle is far from over. There is still a separate damages lawsuit seeking over 40 billion won regarding disrupted activities, and the tension between ADOR and its parent company is palpable. Min Hee-jin may have won a significant financial victory and the right to stay on as CEO for now, but the cost to her reputation within the industry and her relationships with other artists has taken a hit. The incident involving V served as a grim reality check for the industry. In the era of social media and leaked chats, the boundary between corporate strategy and personal privacy is thinner than ever. As fans, we are left watching a tragedy unfold, where the people creating the music we love are caught in the middle of a war they never started, their words and images weaponized in a game of chess where the only certainty is more chaos to come.